U luister na Storytyd saam Stella, aangebied deur Estel Rousseau.
Ek sit hier op so net na 6 die krag het nou net uitgegaan en ek kry 'n stukkie op Michelle Eywer se Facebook page wat sy weer deel van Jennifer Chapman en ek wil dit graag met julle deel. Luister gou 'n bietjie hierso. Church is hard. Church is hard for the person walking through the doors, afraid of judgment. Church is hard for the pastor's family under the microscope of an entire body. Church is hard for the prodigal soul returning home, broken and battered by the world. Church is hard for the girl who looks like she has it all together, but doesn't. Church is hard for the couple who fought the entire ride to the service. Church is hard for the single mum surrounded by couples holding hands and seemingly perfect families. Church is hard for the widow and the widower with no invitation to lunch after service. Church is hard for the deacon with an estranged child. Church is hard for the person singing worship songs, overwhelmed by the weight of the lyrics. Church is hard for the man insecure in his role as a leader. Church is hard for the wife who longs to be led by a righteous man. Church is hard for the nursery volunteer who desperately longs for a baby to love. Church is hard for the single woman and single man praying God brings them a mate. Church is hard for the teenage girl wearing a scarlet letter, ashamed of her mistakes. Church is hard for the sinners. It is hard for me. It is hard because on the outside it looks shiny and perfect, Sunday best in behavior and dress. However, underneath those layers you find a body of imperfect people, carnal souls, selfish motives. But here's the beauty of church. Church isn't a building, mentality, or expectation. Church is a body. Church is a group of sinners saved by grace, living in fellowship as saints. Church is a body of believers bound as brothers and sisters by an eternal love. Church is a holy ground where sinners stand as equals before the throne of grace. Church is a refuge for broken hearts and training ground for mighty warriors. Church is a converging of confrontation and invitation, where sin is confronted and hearts are invited to seek restoration. Church is a lesson in faith and trust. Church is a bearer of burdens and a giver of hope. Church is a family coming together, setting aside differences, forgetting past mistakes, rejoicing in the smallest of victories. Church, the body and the circle of sinners turned saints, is where He resides, and if we ask, He is faithful to come. So even on the hard days at church, the days when I'm at odds with a friend, when I fought with my kids because we're late again, when I've walked in bearing burdens heavier than my heart can handle, yet masking the pain with a smile on my face, when I've worn a scarlet letter under the microscope, when I've longed for a partner to hold or fought tears as the lyrics were sung, when I've walked back in, afraid and broken after walking away, I remember He has never failed to meet me there. Ja, ek het net gedink dit is ietsie powerfuls nogals om dit met julle almal te deel. Ek sit lekker hier saam met Johan terwyl ek dit vir hom lees en vir hom sê dit is eintlik vir my baie gepaste stuk wat Michelle gedeel het met ons. Dankie Michelle dat jy altyd sulke powerful goed met ons deel. Ek hoop julle het 'n rustige Sondag verder. Blessings.